I'm Chey, and the amount of concerts I'm attending lately really is waging war on my wallet. Ready? Rolling. When am I going to stop making intros with bad jokes about the bands that I'm going to be singing in that video? Never. I'm not going to stop. I don't even know why I asked that. I'm not going to stop. Someone is going to have to stop me, and I welcome them to try. So I'm seeing Wage War. That's pretty freaking exciting. Not only am I seeing Wage War, but also Spite and Nothing Nowhere is with them. I'm not gonna lie, I am most excited for Nothing Nowhere, not because I don't love Wage War, but because I have been trying to see Nothing Nowhere since I was a sophomore in college, and now I am... oh my god. I'm 2 years removed out of college. I thought I was gonna see him while I was in college, and then the pandemic. Literally, I was supposed to see him in April of that year. March, the pandemic hit. And of course, a couple failed times before that, but especially after that botched attempt, it's just been a comedy of errors. Until now. I am so hyped to see him. I have been such a big fan of his music for so long. But seriously, his album, Ruiner, was actually the first album that I rated a perfect score on my old YouTube channel. If that video is somehow still up, I'll link it somewhere, but I don't really use that channel anymore. I'm just on this one. So don't look for that video here because you're not going to find it. It's somewhere else. Wage War I have seen once. I saw them open for Beartooth in Nashville on the Below Part 2 tour, I believe it was. I believe I saw them... No, that's a lie. I did not see them in Nashville because my mom has not seen them and she was there at that show with me. I saw them in Atlanta with Beartooth. That's where all that's from. That's from the Atlanta show. That's where I saw them with Beartooth. And they absolutely crushed it. And I became a fan. I had a great time. Their songs just always want to make me go so hard in the pit, especially Death Roll. Don't get me started. Don't get me started. I'm excited for my mom to see them though because she's never seen them and I have a feeling that she is going to love them. It's rare that I get to introduce her to a band because usually somehow she knows about them already. Wage War she knows nothing about. This is just her going in blind. The concert this time is going to be at Marathon Music Works, which is actually a venue that I have been to before, and we're actually going back next Wednesday because that's where we're going to be seeing Beartooth. The bear no longer has teeth. All his teeth fell out. He is dead. Now he lives in a bear tomb. We're gonna be singing Beartooth and Trivium. Anyway, that's a long enough intro. Let's go.
Album almost a year ago. This is the title track. This is dedication of flesh. The energy does not stop. Keep this up. Let's move.
I scared myself to death. Now get up. Wake up, little down with a sickness. Now you left of a man in a mission. Who was up number one in a hit list. Number two, who was up this business.
It's like I'm watching myself from a distance. Cousin, but different of control. Awareness, a ghost, past. No, as I can possibly go. I tried to admit it to, but I'm not 10-foot Mary. Stare at my reflection and wait for it to change. I'm trapped in an illusion, an endless cycle of circling the drain to the drain, of swirling from the lands. The lost soul of the way, wandering having some fun. This is some fun. You know the words to go. I'm the first, I'm the first. Got it all, be worth the burn now. See that I've been wrong. Getting back the days that I should have felt so long. I wanna feel the smoke. Make sure I feel everything. I'll never rest. If I don't face myself in front, no matter what's doing me, I see what's everything. I wanna feel the soul. This is the river.
You want a Coke?
I want a Dr. Pepper, and I need
Pepper?
and I need a strawberry frosty.
What size?
Alright, post-show talk time, baby. Am I wearing the same shirt that I was wearing in the intro because I'm filming this on the same day because I forgot to film an intro? Mind your business. There's not much to talk about in the way of what happened directly after the show because me and my mom just got in an Uber, went back to our car. We stopped by Wendy's, picked up a strawberry frosty. It was delicious. Then we headed home and passed out as soon as we got home. But that out of the way, let's get to the second most important thing, which is a merch haul. Now, as par for the course, particularly for this month, I didn't pick up much merch, but I did get some. It's just that I'm going to a lot of shows this month, so I'm trying to be really picky and choosy about what I get from each show. Not that I get a ton usually to begin with at shows, but this month I'm being particularly picky. Particularly picky, that should be the title of my autobiography. I only got 2 merch items, and one y'all already know is a tour t-shirt. This is it. It's the Wage War Manic Tour t-shirt. Up on the front pocket area, we just have their logo with Wage War and Manic Tour, which honestly, I love having the name of the band and the tour on the front pocket area where you can see it without having to go to the back of the shirt. I don't know, I've just never really seen that many tour t-shirts like that, and I really dig it. And on the back, we have Wage War, the graphic again, all the tour dates, Manic Tour, and I kind of like the little detail that at the bottom it does say North America 2023. It's just a little detail, but I love specifics, so it makes me happy. Just a little extra note, the fabric on this t-shirt is actually incredibly soft. I think I'm gonna be wearing it a lot. As for the second item I picked up was a Nothing Nowhere t-shirt. This was the merch item I was most hyped to get. I love my tour t-shirts, I have so many of them, but I only have one Nothing Nowhere t-shirt. And it's because all of his merch seems to sell out so frackin' fast, it's not even funny. Don't even get me started on how often I have just tried to get his merch as soon as it's announced, and then something happens and it's sold out within like 5 minutes, and I'm like, pain. But I knew this tour was going to be my chance to at least grab one more, so I wore my one and only t-shirt to the show, and I picked up this one to add to my collection. I really liked all of his merch items, I just ended up going with this one because I really dig his name design logo on the front, and that's because it matches the aesthetic of his current latest album, Void Eternal. So on the back, we have this really sick picture of a car burning up, and then on the bottom it says Void Eternal, of course, his latest album, which is incredible, by the way. You should go listen to it. I love the whole aesthetic surrounding this album. I love it's gonna sound so cringe saying this, but I really do love the kind of edginess to it. I guess the grittiness is probably a better word. I'm not gonna try and make it that deep. I just really dig the designs on the front and the back. As for the show itself, let's talk about the concert review. Why do I have the worst luck when it comes to choosing where to stand? Mostly it's because I'm short, and I'm full of rage about it. That's what makes me so good in the mosh pit. So Spite was the first act to come on, and I have to say, they were very good. At least for what I could see. I was really digging them. They were just punchy, dude. They just no holds barred. As soon as they got on that stage, it was 0 to 100 real quick. Now this time I wasn't in the mosh pit because I was with my mom. I was too tired. I didn't want to get in the mosh pit, so I didn't, and there's no shame in that. The Beartooth show will be a different story. Watch yourselves. They went so hard, so fast. I was ready to jump in the pit and start swinging even though I didn't want to. They had this aura about them that just made your adrenaline spike immediately. They sucked you into their performance. It felt like they were the personification of every little irritation that you've ever had in your life that annoys you, that just builds up and builds up and builds up, and now it's escape, and it wants you to break something. Very odd comparison, but I'm going with it because I don't script these things, I just speak. Another title for my autobiography. I think they had a great command of the stage, they were tight, I was really getting into the performance, and then 2 people walked in, dressed like they were going to a rodeo, like 10-gallon hats and all, and came and stood right in front of me. First of all, what are you doing here? Second of all, even if, like, I'm not judging you on your style aesthetics, come dress whatever you want. Don't wear a freaking cowboy hat to a freaking show. Don't. Just stop. Stop it. Stop it. Don't do it. And even if you're gonna do it, don't stand in front of the shortest girl in the area. They saw me and they were like, And they just kept like swaying back and forth. So even when I tried to dodge around them to just even see, not even to film, I didn't care about filming at this point. I just wanted to see the show. I couldn't see because 10-gallon Doug Dimmadome Hat McGee was like, Bud Light with his buddy. And I'm like,
That's it! Killing you both!
don't wear a cowboy hat to a show that you're gonna stand in front of a very short person compared to you. Please just don't wear a cowboy hat to a show like that. And if you do, just take it off. Or don't stand in front of somebody that you see is very well shorter than you and will not be able to see over you. Just be considerate. Don't do it. Just don't do it. If I see you doing it, I will call you on it. What I did see of Spite, though, really invigorated me. It was a really intense performance. What I will say about them is I think they are the kind of band, at least me personally, I would enjoy them a lot better in a smaller room. That's not to say that they didn't have command of the room or it wasn't enjoyable, because clearly it was. But they're just one of those bands that their crowd interaction style feels so personal, so visceral, that I think it would hit a lot harder, that I think it would have more of an impact in a close room where people can't really escape. I don't mean that in a negative sense. I just think that their style is so involved and so intense that that kind of venue was kind of too big for that. A smaller room would have been more fitting. Or maybe if the room had been more filled out, it would have been better. But that's not a knock on them. They were great. Nothing Nowhere. Lord, where do I start? The amount of screaming that I did, and I want to apologize, as I probably already have in the clips, for the amount of screaming that I did. But I'm also gonna take back that apology because I was living my best freaking life. And you are not gonna take that away from me. You can't. It already happened. I was so hype when he came on stage. Bro, nobody could touch me. Seriously, I told my mom, like, right before he came on, I was like, I am about to become the most obnoxious person in the world, and I don't care. And I was. I was screaming every lyric that I could so loud. I actually restrained myself whenever I was filming, so you're welcome. But every moment that I could, I was screaming the lyrics as loud as I possibly could, just headbanging, just dancing, just vibing out, having a great time, just letting my synesthesia, letting my STEM ADHDness go full out on full display. Because honestly, I don't know when or if I'm ever gonna get to see him again. It's been this long, it's taken me this long to see him for the first time. I'm gonna go as hard as I can in case I never get the chance to again. And I have absolutely no freaking shame about that. I will say, though, that at one point I noticed that everyone around me had started, like, giving me space because I was just, like, full body, like, moving so hard and just losing my mind, which I thought was kind of funny. And then this dude and I guess his girlfriend came up and they looked at me and they saw me screaming lyrics and they came and stood like almost right in front of me. And I was like, I'm not gonna stop. And so I just kept screaming. I kept going. And at one point he looked back to me and I'm like, dude, you saw what I was doing and came over here. You saw what you were getting into. I am not changing what I'm doing just for you. There is plenty of space. You chose this. Now, did I scream in his ear on purpose? No, absolutely not. I am not one of those people. It's just that I didn't stop what I was already doing. I wasn't going to change what I was doing. And then a group of 2 or 3 friends walked up and they were going to stand in front of me. One dude actually stood directly in front of me. And I was like, no, absolutely not. And so I immediately tapped him on the shoulder and I was like, I can't see. I wasn't rude about it. I did have to yell a little bit for him to be able to hear me, but I was like, I can't see. And to his credit, to this gentleman's credit, he went, oh, sorry, and moved to the side. Thank you. Thank you, kind sir. That was all that I needed. I'm like, you can stand here all you want for Wage War. I will move out of your way. But I don't know if I will ever get to see Nothing Nowhere again. Just let me freaking have this. I couldn't see half a Spite set. Just let me see Joe's. Please. It's fine. Everything's fine. Everything is fine because I got to see him and I got to have such a good time, as you probably heard in the clips. What is there to say about Nothing Nowhere? He is as hype as he is in his studio recordings. I had such an amazing time. Probably heightened by my own excitement, but I think he is such an infectious performer. I think he can read the crowd really well because the way that he was moving on stage, the way that he was interacting with the crowd seemed like he had a good grasp on the different feelings in different areas of the room and then latching onto them. and elevating them. Simply put, he was in touch with the vibes, y'all. He got it. He knew the right times to hype the crowd up. He knew the right times to get people to mosh, to get people to scream, to get people to interact and sing back to him. And I think that's a very delicate balance that an artist has to have. Not a lot of people have that, at least in artists that I've seen. But it was so cool. It was such an honor to get to finally see him in person. I think he is an incredibly talented artist that's only going to continue making better and better things. I can't wait to see what he does in the future. I am so glad I got to see him at this show, finally. Since I first heard his album Ruiner, I knew that he was incredibly talented. I felt that he was. And since I've watched him grow as an artist, since I've watched him make more and more and just get better and better, I only feel more solid about that. I think that he is one of the most incredibly talented people in the music industry today, and I don't say that lightly. His production, his lyrics, his musicianship. Check out his one takes. I would pay so much money to just see him in like an acoustic setting on a theater tour just doing that. Alright, enough about Joe. Let's get to Wage War. Wage War freaking crushed it again, because of course they did. Like Spite, they were just infectious and intense. Went from 0 to 100 real quick, but they kept that 100 energy. No, they went to like a 300% energy by the end of that show. By the time that they got to Death Roll, I thought that place might burst. In a good way. They had such a control of that room that it felt like they had been performing there for about 10 years. They got everyone invested immediately. There were so many people there in a Day to Remember t-shirt, so I think they may have found Wage War from that tour that they did with the Day to Remember, but it felt like everyone in that crowd was just immediately devoted to them, was just hooked into the performance. Everyone was a part of it. Everyone was in this together. Everyone was ready to march into the gates of hell if they commanded us to. And what was cool is that it felt like the entire band, not just the front man, but the entire band was involved in curating that kind of involvement, that kind of interaction. And again, I think that's something that's a little bit rarer for full band acts. Usually it involves the band, but it mostly kind of leans on the front man. This felt pretty evenly distributed. It was kind of like Set It Off or Rivals in that way, where it felt like everyone knew the members of the band and there was so much love there that everyone was just so ready to rock their faces off and just be a part of this great event. And the band did a great job of capturing that and just melting everyone's faces off. I tried filming the best moments that I could that captured that kind of essence. That's what I like filming the most at shows, to put in these vlogs, because that's what I love the most about concerts, besides getting to see, you know, my favorite bands and hear music, is the community interaction. I love being able to get together with a group of people who love the same group of people and group of little air wiggles that I do, and just getting to rock our little socks off. I just think it's neat. I just think it's something magical, and I think it's something that we as humans are so lucky to get to experience. There's a reason that people have post-concert depression and not pre-concert depression. I was so tempted to get into the mosh pit very many times, but I refrained myself, mostly because I have to work several times this week, and I am saving up my energy for the Beartooth Trivium show. But I was grooving at the back of the room, headbanging and all that. I didn't just stand still the whole time. It's not in me to stand still. I wish it was. It's not. Unfortunately, to the dismay of those around me. But they absolutely crushed it. I cannot wait to see them again, and I believe that they made my mom a new big fan of theirs. I was trying to say something to her during Death Roll, and it was like I did not even exist. She was just like watching them, just zeroed in. And my mom is super focused at concerts anyway. She is just always just watching the band, especially the drummer. God, she loves drumming. But I was trying to say something to her. I forget what I was trying to say, but I was trying to get her attention for something, and she was just locked in the middle of the guitars on Death Roll, and I was like, oh, she's a goner. She's a goner, but I support it and I love it. You do you, Mama Chey. You do you. I'm so proud of you. I'm so glad that I was able to help make this happen for you, to bring you along with me. This is beautiful. So I will not complain. That's gonna be it for this concert vlog, though. Thank y'all so much for watching. I have plenty of other concert vlogs to check out in a playlist aptly titled Concerts. I'll link it up below. Yeah, that makes sense, Chey. I'll link it up in the cards. Be sure to check it out. There's a lot of fun stuff in there. I actually just posted one of my favorite vlogs I've ever done, which was seeing All Time Low at the Ryman. Once in a lifetime show. As always, thank y'all so much for watching. If you ain't heard it from anyone else today, I love you. Love and peace.